battlefield was burning. Smoke and dust covered everything. The air smelled like metal, blood, and fear. Human soldier Eli Cross crawled through the broken ground, his armor cracked, his rifle half melted. Around him, the ruins of an alien village burned under the red sky. Screams faded one by one. Eli's breathing was slow, heavy. He had already been hit, once in the shoulder, twice in the leg. But he didn't stop. Somewhere ahead he heard crying. Not a soldier's cry, a child's. He pushed through the smoke, dragging himself forward. Through the dust he saw her, an alien girl no more than 12, with silver blue skin and wide glowing eyes. Her small body was trapped under a collapsed wall. Slavers' insignia were still on the nearby trucks. They had attacked, captured, and burned everything. When Eli reached her, her eyes widened in fear. She tried to crawl away, whispering in her language, "No more." "Please." He raised his hand slowly. "It's okay," he said. "I'm not one of them." She stared at his human face, covered in ash and blood. "You human?" she whispered, confused. He nodded and tried to lift the broken stones. They were heavy, cutting into his hands, but he didn't stop. The girl coughed weakly, a strange blue light flickering under her skin. "They will come back," she warned. "Then I'll be here before they do," he said. The sound came, engines roaring in the distance. A slaver patrol returning. Eli's helmet comm buzzed with static, but no one answered. His squad was gone, probably dead. He pulled the girl free just as gunfire cracked across the sand. Bolts of plasma hit the ground beside him. He turned, shielding the girl with his body. "Run," he shouted, but she couldn't. Her leg was hurt. She fell, crying out. Eli fired back with his broken rifle. 1 shot, 2 shots, empty. He threw the gun aside and pulled out his sidearm. The next second, a plasma round hit his chest. He fell backward, coughing blood. The girl screamed. Eli forced himself up, blood running down his armor. "Go!" he shouted again. "No," she cried. "You'll die." He smiled weakly. "Someone has to make sure you don't." Then he ran toward the slavers. His pistol flashed, hitting one, then another. More plasma bolts struck him. One in the shoulder, another in the stomach. He fell but kept crawling, firing until his weapon clicked dry. 7 shots. 7 wounds. He finally fell beside the burning truck. The alien girl crawled to him, sobbing. She pressed her small hands on his chest, glowing with strange light. "Please don't go," she whispered. "Protector of the stars, stay with me." Her words faded as his vision went dark. The last thing he saw was her face, full of tears and blue fire. Silence followed. The battlefield wind howled through the dust. The slaver's ship lifted off and vanished into the clouds. Hours later, strange lights descended from the sky, silent, golden, and not human. The girl stood beside Eli's still body, whispering prayers in her tongue. The ground glowed beneath them, and the golden light wrapped around both. The human soldier's hand twitched. His heartbeat, slow, faint, returned. Then everything vanished in a flash. When Eli opened his eyes again, there was no battlefield, no smoke, no pain, only silence, and something heavy pressing down on his chest. He blinked and froze. A tall figure was leaning over him, emerald skin, long hair that shimmered like starlight, the same glowing eyes as the girl. She looked down at him, her voice deep and strange. "You saved me," she said softly. "Now I save you." Eli couldn't move, couldn't speak. He realized he wasn't on Earth anymore. The war was over, but his story had just begun. Eli Cross opened his eyes to light, soft, golden, and humming. The smell of ozone and metal filled his nose. His body felt different. He sat up slowly and noticed he was lying on a smooth platform, his wounds healed as if they had never existed. Above him, the ceiling arched like a crystal dome. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls, and the air vibrated with an energy that Eli could feel in his bones. He blinked, trying to understand where he was. Then he felt it, a weight pressing down on him. He looked up and froze. A giant figure leaned over him, her emerald skin shimmering, long hair flowing like starlight. Her eyes glowed softly, familiar yet alien. "You are awake," she said. Her voice was deep, melodic, echoing slightly. "Do not fear. You are safe." Eli tried to speak, but his throat was dry. "Who? What?" "I am Kara," she said. "The child you saved is me." You kept me alive when all others abandoned me. Eli's mind raced. The girl he remembered, the frightened alien he had risked everything for, was now this towering figure. Her presence filled the room. Her gaze was both protective and cautious. I saved you, he whispered, still unsure if he was dreaming. Yes, Kara replied, and that act changed everything. Your life and mine are now linked. Eli's heart pounded. He tried to rise, but his limbs felt strange, almost lighter. Linked? How? Kara lowered herself, her hands brushing the floor near his body. Light flickered across her fingers and onto his chest. Golden lines appeared on his skin, glowing faintly. They moved like living veins. Your life is bound to mine, Kara explained. The blood you touched carries my essence. If one of us falls, the other falls too. Eli swallowed hard, trying to process it. So I'm alive because of you? Yes, she said softly. And now you must learn what that means. He looked around the chamber. Machines hummed with life. Strange doors and panels lined the walls, all pulsing in rhythm with the golden lines on his arm. The room felt alive, like it was aware of them both. Before he could ask more, a distant vibration shook the platform. Eli turned to see shadows moving along the walls. He tensed instinctively. Hunters, Kara said, her voice steady. The Empire tracks me still. They will not stop until I am returned or destroyed. Eli's chest tightened. He remembered the shots, the pain, the fire. They found us. Yes, Kara said, standing now, her height making the chamber feel smaller around him. But do not worry. You have already survived death. Now you will survive them again. Eli nodded, gripping the platform's edge. I don't know how. I don't even know where I am. Kara stepped closer, her hand resting on his shoulder. This is my ship, built from the remnants of the old Star Dominion. It carries me across the galaxy, and now it carries you. You are not just a soldier. You are part of the pact we are about to fulfill. Eli swallowed. The pact? Kara's eyes softened. Long ago, humans and my people fought side by side. The pact was broken when empires fell, but now we have a chance to restore it. Together, the chamber thrummed with energy. Light pulsed from the floor beneath them, the walls echoing Kara's heartbeat. Eli felt warmth, power, and fear all at once. I don't know if I can do this, he said quietly. Kara's gaze was steady, unwavering. You have already done the impossible. You saved me from death. Now you must face what comes next. Trust in yourself, as I trust in you. Eli took a deep breath, feeling the golden lines on his skin pulse stronger. He nodded slowly. Okay, let's do it. Kara extended her hand, glowing faintly. Eli took it. The energy surged through him, bonded, unbroken, alive. Above them, the stars streaked past the ship as it lifted off the frozen surface of a distant planet. The galaxy awaited, and their journey had only begun. The ship drifted through endless space, glowing softly against the black sea of stars. Eli cross-sat on a cold steel floor, staring at his hands. Strange golden lines pulsed across his skin, moving like living light under the surface. He didn't remember how long he'd been awake, or alive. Across from him stood Kara, the tall, emerald-skinned alien who had saved him. She watched him with eyes full of both guilt and something he couldn't name. What did you do to me? Eli asked, his voice rough. Kara didn't answer right away. Instead, she touched the glowing mark on his arm. You carry my blood now, she said softly. It was the only way to keep you alive. He looked at her in disbelief. Your blood? She nodded. My people's blood binds life to life. When I gave mine to you, it created a link. You live because I live. If one dies, both fall. Eli's heartbeat quickened. So I'm connected to you. Her lips curved in a faint, sad smile. More than connected, human. You are my savior. Now you are my bond. Eli pushed himself up, pacing. I didn't ask for this. I just saved a girl in the dirt. That's all. Kara's eyes darkened. You did more than save me. You changed my fate and yours. Before he could respond, the ship's alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the metallic walls. Kara turned sharply. They've found us. Who? Eli demanded. Hunters. The Empire wants me dead. They do not forgive escaped royals. Eli froze. Royals? Kara didn't answer. Instead, she grabbed a massive spear-like weapon from the wall. Stay behind me, but Eli's soldier instincts woke up fast. He reached for his blaster, now fully charged and sleek with alien tech. No, you saved me once. Let's call it even. The ship shook as boarding hooks slammed into the hull. The doors hissed open, and a dozen armored figures stormed inside, firing plasma rounds. Kara moved like a storm, her body glowing, her spear cutting through the air like lightning. Eli rolled behind a console, firing precise shots. Each hit turned the invaders into sparks of light. One of the attackers shouted, "Capture the hybrid! The human is expendable." Eli scowled. "Not today." He jumped out of cover, firing non-stop until his blaster overheated. Kara covered him, her energy shield bursting outward, shattering the last attacker against the wall. Then silence. The ship drifted again. Eli looked at the carnage. "They called you hybrid. What are you hiding from me?" Kara turned her gaze away. "I am not just from the royal line," she admitted. "I am the last one. My kingdom burned. You saved me when I was just a child. My people said a protector from the stars would rise again. They spoke of you." He laughed bitterly. "I'm no protector. I'm a soldier who got shot 7 times. Kara walked closer. "You stood between me and death. That is enough." She touched the glowing mark again, and for a moment he felt her heartbeat through his arm, steady, powerful. "What happens now?" Eli asked quietly. Kara looked out the window where distant planets shimmered. "Now we run, until you learn what that mark truly means." Eli sighed. "And if I don't want to run?" Her golden eyes met his. "Then we die together." For a long moment neither spoke. Only the hum of the engines filled the air. Then Eli holstered his weapon and gave a small nod. "Fine, but next time I'm driving." Kara tilted her head, almost amused. "Humans," she whispered, "always trying to control the storm." He smirked. "No, we just like to survive it." Outside, the stars shifted as the ship jumped into hyperspace, leaving trails of light behind. 2 lives bound by fate, one human, one alien, both running from the same darkness that was still coming for them, and deep within the glowing marks on Eli's skin, something ancient stirred. The stars stretched into long silver lines as the ship tore through hyperspace. Eli Cross leaned back in the pilot's seat, sweat running down his neck. He still wasn't used to flying alien ships. The controls pulsed like veins, and the dashboard breathed like a living thing. Behind him, Kara stood in silence, staring at the glowing war map floating above the console. Dozens of red dots blinked. Enemy signals. The Empire's bounty hunters. Eli frowned. "How many are we talking about?" Kara's voice was calm but heavy, enough to fill a sky. "The Empire has placed the highest bounty on you." He froze. "On me? I'm not the princess here." "You are worse," she said quietly. "You carry royal blood now, mine. To the Empire, that makes you a traitor and an abomination." Eli slammed his fist against the console. "All I did was save you." Kara turned, her emerald eyes glowing softly. "And in doing so, you saved the last heir of the fallen star Dominion." "That is not a small act, human." The ship shook violently. A warning light flashed. Kara's tone hardened. "They've found us." Outside the window, a fleet appeared, black ships with the Empire's crest burning red on their hulls. They surrounded Eli's small vessel like wolves around wounded prey. Eli grinned faintly. "Guess diplomacy's off the table." Kara didn't smile. "We do not surrender." He nodded, grabbed the control sticks and pushed them forward. "Then let's make them regret it." The first wave of enemy fighters opened fire. Blue plasma streaked across the darkness. Eli spun the ship sharply, dodging between shots. He felt the heat of a near miss as energy bolts grazed the hull. Kara steadied herself and activated the rear cannons. The guns came alive with a roar, spitting golden fire. "Nice shooting," Eli shouted. Kara didn't answer. Her eyes were glowing brighter, her markings flaring like fire across her skin. Each time she fired, the cannons pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. For a moment, Eli forgot the danger. He stared at her, the alien warrior who had once been a scared child he'd pulled from rubble. Now she looked like a goddess of war, fierce and untouchable. But then a massive explosion rocked the ship. The lights flickered out. "Shields are down," Eli yelled. "We're not going to make it if we stay in open space." Kara pointed toward a nearby asteroid belt. There, the shards of Quran. "Hide among them." Eli steered hard toward the field. The ship rattled as they entered a storm of spinning rock and metal debris. Chunks of glowing crystal drifted like icebergs, crashing against each other with thunderous echoes. Inside the maze, the hunter ships hesitated. They couldn't risk collision. Eli finally exhaled, his voice low. That bought us a minute. Kara placed a hand on his shoulder. A minute is life. They drifted quietly, hidden in the asteroid's shadow. For a few seconds it almost felt peaceful, until a holographic broadcast appeared on the dashboard. It was an Imperial message. A cold, robotic voice echoed. Bounty alert. Human male identified as Eli Cross. Charges: harboring royal fugitive. Interference with Empire law, genetic corruption. Reward: 1 million star credits, alive or dead. Eli stared at the message. Genetic corruption. What is that supposed to mean? Kara looked away. The mark on your skin. It's not only life bond. It's evolution. The Empire fears what it may become. He swallowed hard. And what's that? Her gaze locked on him. Something beyond human, or beyond alien. Something new. Outside, a single hunter ship broke formation and entered the asteroid field, searching. Its spotlight swept over the rocks, slowly nearing their hiding place. Eli grabbed his weapon. Looks like our minute's up. Kara raised her spear, her voice a whisper. Then we show them why the stars remember the name Cross. The hunter ship drew closer, light glinting through the cracks. Eli's heartbeat matched the hum of the engines. Kara's eyes burned brighter than ever. When the light touched them, Eli smirked. Let's finish the job we started. The ship roared out of the shadows, cannons blazing. The battle began again, louder, faster, and more furious than before. And for the first time, Eli felt it, the mark on his arm glowing not from fear, but from purpose. The ship hit the moon like a falling star. Metal screamed, fire flashed, and silence followed. When the smoke cleared, the vessel lay broken across a plain of white ice, half buried in snow. Eli Cross coughed and pulled himself from the wreckage. His breath turned to mist in the freezing air. Around him, jagged peaks glowed faintly blue under a pale sky. He had crash-landed on a world that looked dead. Behind him, the sound of metal shifting. Kara climbed out of the ruins, her green armor cracked but her eyes alive. We are not safe here, she said. Eli looked around. Doesn't look like anyone else is. The Empire will track the wreck, she replied. This moon is not empty. It remembers. He didn't know what that meant, but he grabbed his pack and followed her into the cold. The snow came up to his knees, the wind biting like knives. The ship's smoke trail stretched across the sky, a signal for every hunter nearby. Hours passed before they found shelter, an old structure carved into the mountainside. Its entrance was half buried, its doors made of black stone covered with symbols that glowed faintly when Kara touched them. She whispered, "These are the marks of my ancestors." Eli brushed off the frost, studying the alien carvings. "Looks like a tomb." "Or a memory," Kara said softly. "Come." Inside, the air was still and cold. The walls pulsed with dim blue veins of energy. At the center of the chamber stood a massive stone pillar, cracked but still humming. It projected a faint hologram, a circle of figures, alien and human, standing side by side. Eli froze. "Those are humans," Kara nodded slowly. "From your world, long ago." The hologram played an ancient message in a broken language, half translated by their ship implant. "When the suns fall and the empires burn, the children of Earth and Alaris shall stand together again." Eli's heart pounded. "So humans were here before?" "Not just here," Kara said. "We once fought beside each other, but time erased the truth." He ran a hand through his hair, snow melting on his fingers. "And now we're fighting again, just on different sides." Kara looked at him, her voice low. "Maybe fate brought us here to remember." Suddenly the pillar flickered, showing a battle, humans and Ilarian warriors standing together against a shadow of dark energy. The same golden marks on Eli's skin glowed on the warrior's arms. "It's the same light," he whispered. Kara nodded. "The bond you carry, it's not a curse, it's a promise." The ground trembled. Ice cracked overhead. Kara pulled Eli back as part of the ceiling collapsed, revealing a dark tunnel leading deeper underground. From below came a sound, metal shifting and something breathing. Eli raised his blaster. "Please tell me that's not one of your ancestors waking up." Kara's eyes narrowed. "No, that is something older. The sound grew louder, slow, heavy steps. A shape appeared in the shadows, tall and wrapped in frost. It looked like armor, ancient and broken, moving as if alive. Eli aimed. Friendly? The creature turned its head. Its faceplate flickered, revealing a skull, half metal, half bone. Its voice came through static. The war never ended. Kara stepped forward, her spear glowing faintly. "Guardian of the old pact," she whispered. "We are not enemies." But the Guardian's eyes turned red. "All intruders must be erased." It raised its arm, energy gathering like a storm. Eli fired first. The blaster shot hit the ice beside it, lighting up the room. Kara lunged forward, blocking the creature's strike with her spear. Sparks and ice shards flew everywhere. "Go!" she shouted. "Find the power core." Eli ran toward the central pillar. He touched the hologram. It burst into golden light, flooding the entire room. The Guardian froze mid-strike. The symbols on the walls flared bright, and the voice of the ancient message returned. "Those who remember the pact shall not be destroyed." The Guardian lowered its arm, the red fading from its eyes. Slowly it knelt. Kara breathed hard. "He remembers." Eli stared at her. "What just happened?" She looked at him with quiet wonder. "You awakened the pact, the light in you. It obeys the promise of old." Eli laughed weakly. "Guess dying 7 times wasn't enough. Now I'm part of history." Kara smiled faintly. "No, Eli Cross. You are part of destiny." Outside, the storm raged, but beneath the ice, something ancient had stirred again. The frozen moon trembled as the storm thickened. The wind howled across the white wasteland, carrying the echo of approaching engines. Eli Cross stood near the shattered temple gates, his blaster in one hand, Kara's spear in the other. He looked up. Dozens of dark ships were descending through the clouds. The Empire had found them. Behind him, Kara stepped out from the ancient chamber, her armor gleaming faintly in the stormlight. The glowing symbols on her arm still pulsed from the ancient pact's power. "They came faster than I expected," she said quietly. Eli smirked, though his eyes were sharp. "Guess they don't like losing their bounty." Kara's voice softened. "You could still run." He turned to her, snow sticking to his face. "I'm not leaving you." She looked at him for a long second, like she wanted to say something more, but then the first shot came. A plasma blast slammed into the ice, sending a wave of heat and snow across them. Eli ducked behind a rock, firing back. "We've got at least 20. Kara leapt forward, her spear glowing like a shard of sunlight. She spun through the snow, cutting down soldiers one after another. The ice cracked under her strikes, and her voice echoed through the storm like thunder. The Empire's commander stepped down from his ship, a tall alien with golden armor and a cruel grin. "Return the princess and I might let the human die quickly." Eli shouted over the wind. "Sorry, not in the mood for trade deals." The commander raised his weapon. "Then you die together." More troops poured out, surrounding them from all sides. The ground shook as mechs landed, giant machines armed with plasma cannons. Eli reloaded, knowing he couldn't win this one. But he still aimed. Kara stood beside him, breathing hard. "You should not have come into my war," she said. He laughed dryly. "Too late for that. I'm already part of it." The first mech fired. The blast hit near them, sending both flying backward. Eli crashed into the snow, his armor cracking, his vision spinning. He coughed, tasting blood. Through the haze, he saw Kara lying still, her spear buried in the ground. The glow from her markings began to fade. No. Eli crawled toward her. "You're not dying on me now." He reached for her hand, and the mark on his arm flared. Golden light burst out, spreading across both their bodies. The air around them rippled. The soldiers froze, blinded by the sudden glow. Kara opened her eyes, whispering, "Eli, the bond, it's awakening." Her voice became layered, echoing like two beings speaking as one. The ground beneath them cracked, and the frozen moon seemed to pulse with energy. The commander shouted, "Fire!" Kill them both. Dozens of blasts shot forward, but the light surrounding Eli and Kara turned solid, forming a glowing shield. Plasma bolts dissolved before reaching them. Eli stood, helping Kara to her feet. His voice was calm but powerful. "You said this bond was life to life, right?" Kara nodded slowly. "Yes," he smiled faintly. "Then let's live." They moved together, human and alien, like a single force. Kara's spear became an arc of fire, Eli's blaster glowing with golden energy. Every time he fired, her weapon sang. Every time she struck, his heartbeat grew louder. The mechs fell first. Then the soldiers. Then the sky itself seemed to break apart. The commander staggered back, terrified. "What are you?" Eli's eyes glowed gold. "The past you tried to erase." Kara's voice followed, steady and fierce. "The bond your empire feared." Together, they raised their hands, their light merging into a beam that tore through the commander's ship, splitting it in two. When the silence returned, the battlefield was covered in falling snow and glowing dust. Kara fell to her knees, exhausted. Eli knelt beside her. The storm had stopped. Only quiet remained. "You risked everything," she whispered. "Even when you didn't have to." Eli smiled faintly. "You once called me protector of the stars. Guess I had to live up to it." She looked at him, really looked at him. "You already have." Above them, the clouds parted. The twin suns of the system broke through, their light touching the ancient temple once more. The mark on their arms pulsed in sync, as if the universe itself had taken a breath. The storm had passed. The frozen moon now lay bathed in golden sunlight, its jagged peaks glimmering like shattered crystals. Eli Cross stood beside Kara, at the edge of the ancient temple, their breath steaming in the cold air. The battlefield of the siege was quiet, but the weight of what they had survived lingered like smoke in their chests. Kara's green eyes reflected the twin suns above. "It is done," she said softly. "The empire is broken. The command structure shattered. My people and your kind are safe for now." Eli looked around at the glowing ice and the fallen ships, feeling the ache in his body from every wound he had taken. 7 bullets, countless blaster strikes, freezing snow, burning metal. He had walked through death and come back alive, bound to this alien princess by a golden mark he still barely understood. He turned to Kara. "So, what happens now?" Kara smiled faintly. "I am the last of the Star Dominion. The throne can be restored, but I cannot rule without you." Eli raised an eyebrow. "Without me? I'm just a human who got shot a lot." "You are more than that," she replied. "You are the protector. You carry the bond that saved me and all who depend on me. Without you, this empire cannot truly live again." The sunlight caught the marks on their arms. They pulsed together, steady, strong, unbroken. The bond was no longer just magic or blood. It was trust, courage, willpower. Humanity meeting alien might, shaping a future neither could do alone. Eli swallowed. "So, what, I just stay?" Kara stepped closer, placing her hand on his chest. "If you stay, you share the responsibility. You share the crown, in a way." He chuckled, though it was tired and raw. "Guess I always wanted to leave a mark in the stars." The twin suns rose higher, bathing the temple in light. The ships that once hunted them now lay scattered and broken on the ice, their crews gone or surrendered. The Empire's shadow had passed, and a new era had begun. Eli and Kara walked through the remains of the temple, the ancient symbols glowing faintly in welcome. The holographic images of humans and Ilarian warriors from centuries ago flickered once more, then dissolved. The pact had been remembered. The bond had been honored. Kara looked out at the horizon, her expression calm, almost peaceful. "We have rewritten what the stars remember, but there is still work ahead." Eli nodded, glancing at her with respect and awe. "I'm ready. I don't know how, but I'll follow you wherever this goes." For the first time in a long while, neither of them feared the future. They had faced the impossible, Empire soldiers, deadly storms, frozen moons, and ancient guardians, and survived. Not just survived, but had become stronger together. Kara's voice softened, almost a whisper. "You once said you were just a soldier. You risked everything for me when the world said run. You saved a child, and now you have saved a kingdom." Eli smiled faintly. "And you saved me too. Guess we evened the score." She looked at him, her eyes glimmering like emerald stars. "Not even the score. You gave me hope, and I gave you purpose." The twin suns continued their slow rise. Below, the ice sparkled, reflecting a world reborn. The people of Kara's kingdom would return. Survivors from the Empire would remember the courage of the human soldier who refused to leave a child behind. Eli exhaled slowly. So, this is it. Kara nodded, her hand brushing his. The new dawn. 2 worlds linked forever. A human and an alien, bound not by blood alone, but by choice, courage, and heart. Eli looked at the horizon, feeling the warmth of the suns and the power of the bond in his veins. I was just a man, he said quietly. But maybe that was enough. Kara smiled, and the golden light from their arms flared once more. Together they stood, watching the suns rise over the frozen peaks, knowing that the universe would remember their story. A new sun had risen, not just in the sky, but in the hearts of all who had lived through the darkness. Moral ending. True strength is not in weapons nor in armor, nor in survival alone. It is in courage, loyalty, and the willingness to stand for someone when the universe itself says to run.